In 1919, as if to mark his conversion to pacifism, the Baden Powells named their new home Pax Hill. Betty Clay, the youngest of their children, spent her childhood here.
It looks lovely, just as it did when I left it 59 years ago.
It was here that her father's headaches finally left him when he moved his bed out of his wife's room and onto the balcony.
This has been built quite recently. This itself was the balcony. And of course it didn't have these sliding glassed-in doors. It wasn't glassed in at all. It was just open, and this was my father's bedroom. He slept out here. His bed was here, quite a small bed, and very comfortable. And because he slept here summer and winter, he had a canvas blind on a roller which he could pull down and hook onto the balustrade if the weather was really bad.
How long did he sleep here?
How long did he? All the years that I know of, right until 1938 when he left this place. Yes.
What do you think your mum thought about that?
Well, she had to accept it. That was the way he was.
Her parents' compatibility came more through scouting than sex. Olive became chief guide with a following to match her husband's.
Of course, my mother and father had the most completely wonderful partnership that one can imagine. They had almost a mother-to-child relationship because she spoilt him and he played up to this. He would pretend to cry or to sulk as though he were a naughty child, and she would chide him for it. Oh, you must do this, you must put on a woolly, darling, because I feel cold, that sort of thing, just to amuse us.
In many ways, the three children, Peter, Heather and Betty, had an idyllic childhood. And their parents were keen they shouldn't grow up too quickly.
I was friends with Lady Baden Powell's nieces, who she brought up, and they used to invite me to stay. And we used to arrive at whatever the station was, I've forgotten. And the chauffeur would say, "We've still got nail varnish on," and lend us a penknife to scrape it off, because Lady Baden Powell wouldn't allow any makeup. We didn't wear lipstick or powder or anything. She liked healthy, shiny faces. In fact, I remember when I was about 30, I met her in the war, and she shouted across the theatre at me, "Mary, you're wearing lipstick." And I was then a grown woman with a couple of children, and she still objected.
Their son Peter bore the brunt of his parents' puritanical attitudes.
On one occasion, I was in a double bed in the spare room, and both the Baden Powell girls came in, and Peter, who was very young, very spotty, and he'd just got into the bed beside me, and was sitting about a yard away from me in this double bed. And we were talking and were perfectly happy when the door suddenly flew open and in came Olive and shouted at him, "Peter, what are you doing there?" And the poor boy shot out of my bed and out of the room, and we all looked at each other in amazement. We couldn't think what she was on about because we were all extremely innocent. And of course she was concerned about sex, and that Peter, I don't know what Peter was supposed to be doing to me in front of an audience of his two sisters and two cousins. However, she still chased him out of the room, and he scurried off like a terrified rabbit.
The rules of the house may have been strict, but Betty's memories are of a doting father.
I remember him as a most marvellous dad. I can't imagine anybody being a better father than ours was. He was always interested in what we did. He was always encouraging. I think that was the thing I remember most about him, was that he was an encourager. Whatever we did, however we did it, if it wasn't up to standard, he said, "Well, you know, I think you could do better than that."